Hello, Dazzle. Thanks for coming and hanging out with me today. I'm glad that you're here. So, I'm still on the topic of being a bully, and today I wanted to talk about how adults can be bullies and what that can look like. So, the idea behind this is to increase awareness around these behaviors. Because oftentimes, when we're raised in environments that are inappropriate, we're taught that unhealthy behaviors are normal without ever realizing that they're harmful. When we talk about these kinds of behaviors, it gives us a chance to self evaluate and consider if there are things that we could be doing better. There are many reasons why adults may engage in bullying behavior. Some common factors include feelings of powerlessness, insecurity, or inadequacy, a lack of empathy or emotional regulation, a tendency towards aggression or dominance. Additionally, some adults have experienced bullying themselves in the past and may be repeating this pattern. In some cases, bullying may also be a symptom of underlying mental health issues such as depression or personality disorder. It's important to note that no one is born a bully and that behaviors can be changed with the right tools and support. The Workplace Bullying Institute found that 19% of adults said that they personally have been bullied by a higher up or a colleague, while another 19% said that they had seen it happen to someone else. That's about 1 in 5 adults being bullied while they're at work, which means that being a bully is a pretty common thing. But what kind of behaviors are bullies engaging in? Humiliation. Adult bullies often use humiliation as a social weapon because it is emotionally powerful. This means that a bully will often wait to have an audience before they criticize others. This is often why we see people making comments online. This is a very public place where their comments can get a lot of attention. In general, the idea is to say something embarrassing, mock, or call the person into question when there is an audience. The bully may or may not be subtle while they're doing this, asking pointed questions that lead to uncomfortable answers, or the avoidance of answering the question can be a more subtle approach. So this isn't to say that if someone disagrees with you in a meeting that they're being a bully. There are respectful ways to disagree with a person. Stating that you have a concern regarding a proposal or stating that you have additional information that may change the risk. These are a part of normal and respectful debate. And this is what can make humiliation so powerful. It can be really hard to tell what is really going on. Like, is the person doing a humiliation tactic, or are they just trying to offer a different point of view? So there's some key pieces to asking this question. And the first is to look to see if there's a pattern. Does this person always challenge and or question your authority or proposals while you're in a public setting? If so, it's more likely that they're a bully rather than someone who's engaging in honest debate. And the other thing to look for is are they raising specific questions about your argument, proposal, etc., or are they attacking you specifically as an individual? If they are attacking you as an individual, it is bullying behavior. Honest debate focuses on the topic at hand, not the character and the individual history, etc., of the people engaged in the debating. So, gossip. Talking about other people behind their back in a negative way is pretty much always harmful and something that you should never engage in. This behavior is a rather normalized form of bullying, but it's still bullying. Whatever good comes from talking about how someone failed a test or is never on time from work. So there's a difference between gossiping and venting, and there's an appropriate time and place for venting. And if you're going to vent, it needs to be in a place that's private, and it needs to be with trusted people, and it needs to be just the emotional dump and move on. Gossiping is more about having those conversations in the workplace where other people can chime in, and it's more about trying to sway others into your opinion of that person's behavior. Don't you think it's terrible that they did this thing? Is more gossip rather than venting, which is, I feel so frustrated with. If you have a problem with someone's behavior, it isn't appropriate for you to complain about them behind their back. You should be talking to them directly about their behavior. And in a work setting, you might also need to speak with their supervisor. So, passive aggression. Passive aggressive behavior is a pattern of indirectly expressing negative feelings instead of openly addressing them. There's a disconnect between a person who exhibits passive aggressive behavior says and what he or she does. These are the people that are going to agree with you verbally. They're going to state that they're going to work with you on a task or provide you assistance, but then they don't, or they perform well below what they're known to be capable of performing. These are the people that tell you that they're on your side, but they engage in behaviors that sabotage your efforts. Physical abuse. There are plenty of adults that are physically hurting others, and this one is pretty clearly not considered all right in society, as it always falls under the umbrella of abuse or assault. However, it's pretty common for people to rationalize this behavior as being a momentary loss of control. Even if that is the case, it doesn't change the reality of what the behavior is. It's not appropriate. Threatening or intimidating. This could be implied threats, like throwing items or slamming your fists into the wall or a table. It can be a physical threat, such as raising your fists or brandishing a weapon. There are also the threats of taking things away or inflicting a punishment if a person doesn't comply with whatever it is that they want done. Anytime someone makes another person feel that they are in danger or that they might lose their freedom or not have their needs met, this is threatening and a use of intimidation. So this is not the same as when your boss has to tell you that if you continue to not come into work on time, that they're going to have to fire you because they've already written you up for poor attendance. It is appropriate for a person to tell you that there are consequences to the choices that you are making. And this means that when someone is informing you of their boundaries and that if you continue that they're going to leave, it's not a threat. So what's the distinguishment? What's the difference between using threat and intimidation and stating consequences? If you're not being put in a situation where you have reason to believe that you're going to become harmed, lose freedom, or lose access to having your needs met, it's not the use of threat and intimidation. Those are just marking of boundaries. So if I say to you, dude, you keep talking to me like that, I'm going home, that's not harming you, that's not imposing a loss of freedom, and it's not making it so that you can't access your needs. That's not a threat, and that's not the use of intimidation. That's me just, here's my boundary, I'm not accepting your behavior. So silent treatment. It's pretty common for someone to engage in what we consider the silent treatment when they're angry, but this really isn't appropriate behavior, and it is harmful to relationships. It is completely all right to say that you need some time to think about something before you talk about it, but that doesn't mean that you don't talk to the person about anything while you're thinking about that problem. And it's also all right to say that you emotionally need some time to be alone, and during that time, go be alone and then come back and engage. So needing an emotional space does not mean that you were sitting in the same room as another person and pretending that they don't exist. The silent treatment is when you make a point to make yourself physically present and demonstrate that you are emotionally not present for that person. Isolation. When a person in your life demands that you cut ties with others in order to maintain a relationship with them, it is inappropriate behavior. Friends and partners should never ask you to choose between them and someone else. This is a tactic to isolate you for social support. Having social support makes people more resilient. Thus, isolating a person from social support is a tactic used to make someone more vulnerable, and it is very effective. It's completely all right for your partner to say that they don't like your friend and that they don't want to be around that person, as long as they're not trying to stop you from hanging out with other people. It is reasonable for someone to express concern about you being around other people that they think are harmful to you. So it's appropriate for a person to say, hey, that person hurts you. I don't think that you should hang out with them. But a respectful relationship will still respect that the choice is yours. In conclusion, I want to say that if you have discovered that you engage in any of the behaviors that have been discussed in this video, know that it doesn't make you an evil person. It means that you are one of the many victims of the cycle of violence, or that you are dealing with mental health issues that are not being properly addressed. But being aware of these behaviors gives you the power of choice. You can always choose to do something different than what you have been doing. You are not locked into the person that you have always been. Know that you can wake every day and make a commitment to the spirit of kindness. You won't be perfect because changing patterns of behavior is really hard. But over time, you can become a different person. No person is born evil. Things happen to us in our lives, and that leads us to become the people that we are. What science has taught us is that our health outcomes, including our mental health, is not greatly affected by our DNA. Our genes only have a 5% impact on the course that our lives take. The majority of who we become in life is a direct result of what happened to us in our life. None of us are beyond the power of choice. With the power of choice, we can reshape who we are. Choice allows us to change the environment that we are in and the way that we engage with that environment. The result is that we can become different people over time. Well, that's about it for my rambling today. Thanks for coming and spending some time with me. If you liked the video, click on that like button. It really does help. And until we talk again, you guys be sure to take care of yourselves. Bye!